Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir, and if you did not know already, then I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, processes, things you should do, things you definitely should not with regards to your Canadian immigration application. I have raised web form twice with all requirement documents, including PCC to add my spouse and my express entry PR application, but still no update. What are we talking about? We are talking about the situation where you have to add your spouse to your application. All right. So this is a very, very common situation. So you are an individual who has submitted your PR application, express entry, non-express entry, it doesn't matter. You have submitted your PR application, it is in process, or you have even received your COPR, you have your PR visa, it's all been stamped in your passport, but you haven't landed in Canada. It's extremely important. If you are in the process, or if you have been approved but you haven't landed in Canada, if you get married, or if there is a birth of a baby, then this is a change in family composition. You have to inform IRCC. It is not optional. If you do not inform IRCC, then you land yourself in big trouble, and you're also misrepresenting. And the reason why you're misrepresenting is because by not declaring your spouse, it basically means the inadmissibility checks have not been done on your spouse, which basically means that because under normal circumstances, if your spouse is inadmissible, you are inadmissible. So if you have hidden the fact that you are married, means the inadmissibility checks were not done, which basically means you came to Canada without having gone through proper inadmissibility checks, and therefore you have committed misrepresentation. So not only will you not be able to sponsor your spouse, it also means that you yourself will now be at risk because you have misrepresented. So always, if you have gotten married and you haven't yet landed in Canada, there is a birth of a child in your, you've been blessed with a baby boy, baby girl, you've been blessed with a child, then please inform IRCC immediately using a web form. And then once they revert back to you, then complete all the forms that they ask you for, and then submit those, and make sure that your spouse gets added to your application. Accompanying or non-accompanying doesn't matter. The process time is exactly the same. They will still need to do the checks. So everything is the same except for the fact that you will not have to pay the fee, because if your spouse is not accompanying, but if your spouse is accompanying, then your fee will have to be paid, and there is no change in your scores. So your scores do not matter. So don't worry about it. You do not need to provide your spouse's IELTS or ECA, etc. Because you have gotten married after your submission of application, your scores do not change. I'm just giving you a bit of a background before I come to the main crux of the matter. So please, it's not discretionary, it's not optional. You have to inform your spouse about IRCC about your marriage. And whether you choose to add your spouse to your application, accompanying or not accompanying, it does not matter. The process time will remain the same. It will take the same amount of time. At this point of time, once they have acknowledged and they have added your application, your spouse's application, it could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to process everything and then give you a final second PPR. Now, where does the problem happen? The problem at this point of time is when you're raising a web form, you're informing IRCC, but IRCC is not reverting back. Okay. Web forms are not being acknowledged. The reason why web forms are not being acknowledged, because people are raising crazy amount of web forms. They are raising web forms for all kinds of ridiculous reasons, which is creating a much bigger backlog of the web forms, and more important and urgent web forms are not being actioned or are getting lost in translation. And therefore, when people like this who really need to get some things done and changed in their application, or need to get in touch with IRCC for more important urgent matters, they get lost. So if you are one of those people whose application is in process, or has already been processed, or has been approved, you have received your COPR, you are trying to inform IRCC about change of your family composition, and yet you are not receiving a response, then go ahead and complete so these are the forms. Now, let's say you have informed IRCC, you have told IRCC that your spouse, you got married and you would like to add your spouse to your application. You informed them once, 3 weeks have passed, you have informed them twice, 3 weeks have passed, you informed them 3 times, no response, you're getting frustrated, you're getting irritated, you don't know what to do. Well, my opinion, my recommendation, my suggestion is complete the required forms and submit them to IRCC. There are 2 reasons for that. If you will complete the forms and submit them to IRCC, once IRCC gets them and acknowledges them, then they can get on with the processing. They do not have to again ask you for it. Okay. Now, that is the first instance, which is the most desirable outcome in this situation. If they still come back and still ask you for it, well, then you already have the forms already. You can quickly upload them and off they go, and they will they will get on with their processing. So in both ways, whether they ask you for it, they don't ask you for it, you'll get it done. In other circumstances where you have informed, whether you've just gotten married and you haven't even informed IRCC, even in those circumstances, you can still do this. You can inform IRCC that, hey, I've gotten married, these are my forms, this is my application fees, this is my police clearance, these are my documents, please complete my processing, add my spouse. You can do this in all circumstances, whether you informed IRCC, you haven't informed IRCC. In all these circumstances, this is absolutely valid. If you are, these are the forms that you will need to complete for the spouse to be added. So you've gotten married, so these are the forms that you will need to provide for your spouse or partner. IMM 0008 5669 5562 5406. 0008 is a generic immigration application form. 5669 is a Schedule A or a background declaration form, where you will declare all your employment, you will declare your education, you will declare your activities, you will declare your addresses. All that will come in 5669. 5562 is where you will declare all your travel history. 5406 is where you will declare all your family, your parents and your siblings. Okay. Now, these 4 forms are required by the spouse, the one who you wish to add to your application. So the spouse will have to complete all these documents. And then you, being the principal applicant, add these 2 forms from yourself. You being the primary applicant, you being the principal applicant, add these 2 forms, IMM 0008. Reason why you're completing this form again is because now you've added your spouse as a dependent. It will show in the form that these forms are legal documents. They are needed to be completed in order for them to update your spouse. And 5406 is a family information form where you will now add your spouse's name to your application. Okay. So 4 forms for your spouse, 4 forms for your spouse, 2 forms for you. Add these 6 forms to your application and the documents: marriage certificate, birth certificate for the spouse, police clearance for the spouse. If you wish to do the upfront medicals, I would usually recommend it. But if you don't want to do it, you want to wait for them to ask you for it, you can wait for it. Provide the upfront medicals. The applicable fee receipt. The applicable fee receipt would be, if the spouse is accompanying you, would be 825. Now it is increasing to 850, I think, or whatever that number is. Application fees, the RPRF, right for permanent residence fee. Pay for the biometrics if at all if your spouse has not completed biometrics earlier. So add the biometric fee. You have to provide proof of genuine relationship, otherwise you will get asked. So the whole exercise of providing all these documents upfront is just going to go futile. So do provide your proof of genuine relationship, chat histories, call histories, expenses together, you taking care of your spouse, common proof of addresses, common bank accounts if you have them, pictures before wedding, during the wedding, after the wedding. When you're providing the pictures of the wedding, do not go overboard and provide your whole photo album. Okay, so be sensible. Obviously, you will have a big difficulty trying to upload these documents because web form has a space limitation of 3.5 MB. Each file cannot be more than, I think, 1.5 to 2 MB. So you will struggle with the kind of uploading the documents. So you may have to upload more than one web form, multiple web forms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Give it a serial number and upload multiple web forms. Open different browsers so you keep a track of how many web forms you're uploading. And so proof of genuine relationship is very, very important. And in addition to that, there is one more document which is called the relationship questionnaire. Now you'll say, what is this relationship questionnaire? It's a Word document. You can find it. I put the link in the description of the video. This relationship questionnaire is what IRCC will send you, and it will require both you and your spouse to complete this. It basically asks you, how did you meet? Did everybody in your family know about this relationship? Was anybody else participating? Did you have honeymoon? Was there a reception? All these kind of documentation, or rather all these kind of questions would be required in this questionnaire, which you will need to provide. The link for this questionnaire is in the description. I've already posted it. So click on that link. Feel free to download that document. This document, relationship questionnaire, need to be completed by you and by your spouse, both of you separately. Okay, so one has to be done with your perspective and the other has to be done with your spouse's perspective. So both of you complete this questionnaire, print it, sign it, scan it, upload it. And once you have sent all these documents to IRCC, hopefully IRCC would then continue with the processing of your application and will add your spouse. If at all they come back and still ask you for these documents and they create it within your application, they will create placeholders within your application. you will have all the documents already ready. You can completely, very quickly upload all the documents onto the placeholder that IRCC has created, and off they can go and they will get on with it. These documents sometimes can take time. These are very information intensive. Police clearance takes time, 2 to 3 months. In India, if you're applying for a police clearance, you might need to also update your marital status in your passport before you can apply for police clearance. So get on with it, get going. So if you're even preparing to get married, if your marriage is around on the horizon, then start with this process. Get all these documents ready, apply for police clearance, and get all of them together and submit to IRCC. Sometimes nudging them helps them process things faster. So if you're one of those people who is struggling with IRCC not responding to you, or you not knowing what to do in terms of submitting or rather adding your spouse to your application, well, now you know, and now you can do what is needed to be done. Well, that's all from my side for today. If you wish to make an appointment with me, then that is the link. By all means, we can discuss your application in detail one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also smash the like button on the video while we are at it. And that's just about it from my side. Thank you for joining me. Take care, and I shall see you next time.